We have a whole history of women not being allowed to have conversations, not being supported to have conversations publicly anyway. So, I guess going back in time, women have always been the ones to have the conversations. While they were gathering the berries and collecting food for their families and the cavemen were out shooting, it would be, or at least it's my belief, that they were talking to each other and helping one another, and that really sense of tight-knit community. And then over the years that followed in history, it feels like those conversations between women were always hidden. They were always in corners, and the sense that they had to do what they were told in a developing alpha culture over hundreds of years, and particularly thinking about the workplace. It blows my mind that it's only 50 years really since women have been properly accepted into the workplace, and it's been okay for women to be heard and have a voice in a corporate culture. It just blows my mind, particularly as the mother of 2 girls, and I want them to feel that they can talk on any topic and become experts in anything they want to be in the world. And they are growing up just accepting that to be a fact. And obviously, particularly Ruby, who's nearly 10, she's kind of starting to feel into and notice that that's not quite as simple as perhaps I've brought her to believe. And we've still got so much work to do. We've made loads and loads of progress with helping women to have more of a voice and to be heard in society. And yet there's still so much more to do. And that's part of the conversation I want to have. I feel like as women, we're almost resting on our laurels a little bit as well and saying, but we're allowed to do these things now. This is brilliant. Let's celebrate that. And we do need to celebrate that progress, of course. There's just so much more still to do. The things that still make me so angry, where women aren't accepted as being equal and where they aren't making enough progress in certain industries or certain areas, and they're still not feeling safe or they're not being trusted. And the fact that we as women aren't having those conversations together either. And it's not just about the women and women conversations, it's then about how we get the men to join in with the conversations as well. That's where the true solution lies. It's getting women to move away from alpha culture and accepting that that doesn't make them feel good to work in environments that are competitive or are full of conflict or are about one-upmanship and being better than somebody else. Getting the women to have those conversations, but getting the men to join, and getting the men. I meet so many men who don't want to be in an alpha culture, yet they're under pressure to conform to this vision of what a man should do and being masculine and being strong and having the answers. So this is the conversations I want to have are really about leadership and leading from a unique individual perspective, being the best version of you, whatever that means, whether you're a man or a woman, whatever your background, however you were brought up, but really challenging people to have conversations that matter to them and stand up for the things that they believe in and what feels good for them. And I genuinely think that women have such a big part to play in that. The facets of leadership that I want to see everybody bringing more out are compassion and inclusivity and this sense of community and helping one another. And as women, we're just naturally really good at that. We're nurturing generally from a biological perspective, but it's what does that mean when you want to lead? What does it mean when you want to lead others? You actually have to start as a woman with being kind to yourself and being truthful with yourself and trusting yourself. And these are the things that I want women to talk about more and more. And we find it so hard, particularly when we've been working in corporate environments, because we've been kind of conditioned out of it. I know I was. My time in the law was about me conforming to alpha culture. I wasn't encouraged as a lawyer to show my vulnerability. That was weak. I was never able to admit I didn't have the answer. I just had to work harder and put more hours in and be as good as the leaders in that space, and most of them were male. I didn't have female role models to look up to, and that was one of the main reasons I fell out of the law. And we are making progress, you know, in a profession like the law. Progress is being made, but there's just still so much more to do.